The legal system in Kenya has seen what we call cheap activism. A judiciary is supposed to be the last temple of justice. The judges are supposed to be the last people who safeguard us from any form of ill treatment. The judiciary is supposed to help, but slowly and painfully, something is emerging in Kenya as far as the war of corruption is concerned. The judiciary seems to be playing a role of stagnating and even frustrating the international approaches of fighting corruption. The judiciary in Kenya has sunk so low to the point that judges no longer speak with one voice. If you look at the rulings that have taken place in the last 6 to 7 months, you will wonder whether this court is under the guidance of the Chief Justice, or there is what we could call uncoordinated troop movement of anybody making decisions, whatever decisions, whether they hurt the country, the security of the country, the security of the people of Kenya, whether they hurt the economy of this country. These judges have done it, and they have done it without looking back. Political activism has taken over the legal minds that we used to have in these courts. There is need, therefore, for overhauling the entire system that can bring about good system that can help the government in the fight against corruption. President Uhuru Kenyatta has a desired legacy. A desired legacy cannot be reached when you have a corrupt, incompetent, inept judiciary. Several cases slip away. Take the cases of NYS 1, NYS 2, people who have been given bail, high-profile cases. These cases seem to have oozed away. It is very sad, therefore, for the people of Africa to sit, watch a judiciary dismantle itself and dismantle other institutions.
Members of the Law Society of Kenya have moved a motion allowing lawyers to seek elective positions without a tax clearance certificate and that of the Higher Education Loans Board. Now, as members deliberated on who should be the male representative of the society in the Judicial Service Commission, there was an unanimous agreement that a lawyer will now only need a practicing certificate and that of good conduct to vie for elective positions. Members also withdrew a motion seeking to remove LSK President Alan Gishuhi from the leadership of the body. Reports on a looming battle between Gishuhi and lawyer Tom Ojende seem to have been quelled after a consensus was reached.
Those requirements that had been placed on the way of a major candidate can no longer hold. It is therefore our expectation, and indeed on Monday we'll write to the Law Society of Kenya to give us the minutes and the resolutions made here so that we forward these resolutions to the court when we next appear before it on the 8th of April and ask the court to dismiss those petitions or to adopt the decision of the AGM as binding on this issue.
viewers, welcome to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Viewers, wherever you are in the world, thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa TV all the way from morning up to now. This show is Matsanga Africa Perspective. It's a show that brings Africa closer to you, that analyzes Africa, that defends Africa, that finds out what ails Africa, what destroys Africa. What is it that we can do to improve our lives as Africans without seeking foreign aid, without seeking foreign loans? Can we develop our own continent and countries? Our countries have plenty. We have plenty of sunshine, plenty of minerals, plenty of resources that we can utilize. What brings chaos on this continent of Africa? Elections seem to be something for a matter of death. Everybody is looking for a vote, state house to occupy. Is this the Africa that we want? That's why Matsanga Africa Perspective comes in to see, to evaluate what have we got, what have we lost. Have we got something out of 66 years of independence? The first country in Africa got independence 66 years ago, Ghana. What are the achievements? Is democracy holding? Is democracy holding? Is it growing? Are we tolerant to each other? When we lose elections, 10 sub-Saharan countries are doing elections this year. So far, 6 of them have indicated that out of 6, only 1 came out successful, South African elections. What ails us? What destroys Africa? That is our problem when we come to this Matsanga Africa Perspective. Today we have chosen a topic which is not very strange, but closely linked to what has happened in Kenya and what is taking place in Kenya. In Kenya, we have the judiciary. Part of the problems, the missing link in elections, the missing link in corruption, in fighting corruption, is the judiciary. The judiciary is the altar of justice. The courts are the altar of justice. But if we don't have good judiciary, we shall have conflicts. We shall have war on the streets. We shall kill each other. We shall not sort out the mess. There will be no justice. There will be no truth. There will be no reparations. There will be no restitution. Because courts decide which way a country can lead, can go, which way the country should be led. That's why in our constitutions in Africa, that once the 3 arms, one of the 3 arms remains as a guardian to the first arm. We hear the parliament, speaker of parliament, if the president and the deputy are not there, the speaker of parliament takes over. And the 3rd one comes in as the judge, the chief justice. If these other 3 are also gone, the chief justice will definitely become the acting president and the man in charge in order to bring about, the democracy and the stability of any nation. The ups and the downs of the Kenyan judiciary since 2017. Viewers, you know very well, in 2017, the Kenyan courts, the Supreme Court of Kenya made history in the world by nullifying an election, the first kind in Africa, where an election has to be nullified and the people were told to go back home and go to the drawing board because there were irregularities. This nullification of a presidential election put Kenya on a cliffhanger politics that we saw that happened between August and up to October, then from October up to 9th of March 2018, when a handshake was eventually, took place between Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. But the point that I want to emphasize here is how much have we learned from these court decisions? Our courts in Africa, our courts in Kenya, liberal, our courts neutral. Do courts play their role? Do judicial officers in Kenya play their role? The judicial officers in most countries in Africa do play their roles. But in Kenya, the judicial officer, the judiciary, is like walking in the market and bargaining for the commodity. Most of the officers in the courts are corrupt. We have to admit. For example, clerical officers are the most indisciplined among the mid and lower level judicial staff. A report by the Judiciary in 2018 disclosed this all. Those are facts. It's not me, but the facts. Then we have official data shows that 94% of cases filed in the Judiciary's Human Resource Management Advisory Committee against officers in Group PLC 8 below in the fiscal year 2017-2018, 48 cases out of 51% involved clerical officers who deal with the files, who take the files, who fix the dates, who arrange the judges, who arrange all this. So these are some of the things that have made us in Kenya, or has made Kenya to lack the capability to fight corruption. A case in Kenya takes over 3 years. I remember I went to file a case about work envelope. I wanted to pick the envelope to be removed from the books of Kenya. As you can see, in the morning we showed you a tag where one MP from the Rift Valley is trying to go back to the ICC to have more people indicted for crimes and be more people investigated. I was trying to save this country, but, well, it is up to you to make a judgment. Judiciary, some rogue clerical officers have over the years been blamed for slow services in the judiciary. The mysterious disappearance of key case files is also blamed on the judiciary, the clerical officers. Who loses these files? Are the lawyers, defense, and prosecution out of this problem? The answer is no. We have Mr. Ojenda, for example, Tom Ojenda, who wanted to be the representative of the Judicial Service Commission. Mr. Ojenda has been involved in so many, crimes, financial and other things that touch the court. The integrity of the judicial service system in Kenya has been dented as a result of this Mr. Ojenda being part and parcel. So do we sit here and enjoy ourselves and say, well, we have a very good judiciary? Does Kenya have a good judiciary to finish the job of against corruption? Do they have enough judges? Do they have enough money? These are some of the things, the ups and the downs of the judiciary. The Chief Justice is on record for having said he doesn't have enough resources to be able to finish the cases in time. The president has come back and given him enough resources, has given him some money, has given him equipment, he has given him new technology. The cases are now on computer system. You can know which case, when it is coming, and who is handling it. But has it improved the judiciary, the services in the judiciary? The answer is no. One of the problems that the Kenyan judiciary has is the incompetency of the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice Maraga is incompetent, is not a corruptive fellow. I don't have any evidence of corruption against him, but I have evidence of incompetency, of not knowing that there must, as a chief officer, the chief executive officer of the court, the president of the court, who runs both administrative and other judicial matters, you must actually make sure that this court acts, this court works, this court, every case that comes in the court, You must have access to it. You must know which court, which ruling has taken place. Does this ruling affect the country? How does this ruling affect the security of the country? I'll take an example of the ruling against which gave 2 Iranians, gave them bail to go. If they had left, by now, we don't know whether they would come back and kill us. We don't know who are the real terrorists until you hold somebody and gather more information. Such cases are sensitive to national security. Does the Chief Justice look at these cases and say, I need that file? Can we have a meeting of 3 or 4 judges on that file and help the judge who is presiding over these matters? These are things that are administratively done inside, not fixing the cases, no. But you give your opinion and say, what is the public opinion? The public courts make decisions depending on the public opinion. If a man had killed 20,000 people, you release him today, the public will cry foul. They'll cry foul. And they will say, no, this man should be in jail. Or the worst they can do, the public, is to go for the man and kill him because they don't want to see him. So do you release this man on bail and give him a small amount of bail to leave? These are the questions that we are asking today. Does the judiciary in Kenya serve your purpose, or it doesn't serve your purpose? Your answers to this are very important. Let's move on the complaints. In the financial year in 2017-2018, the Office of the Judicial Ombudsman received 198 complaints of slow service, poor service, and 181 missing files, and of poor service 181 and 136 missing files. Files disappear, including mine. I think this 2017, one of my files disappeared of work envelope. I had to retrace it and get it later. Complaints on poor service went up to 129%, while those in slow service went up to 40% from previous financial year. This may attribute to the public witnesses awareness of the right to complain to the Office of the Ombudsman if they are not happy with the court. Has the court kept your data? Does the court protect your data? We are looking for, everybody here is going for number, Huduma number. So many people have been talking about Huduma number lacking protection. People not being there to protect others on Huduma number. Does the government have the law? These are some of the things that the court. Chief Justice Maraga, as the head of the court, has he worked to your satisfaction? Does he work to your ability? Has he shown the ability to do better in the future? Kenyans are faced with those questions. Have the war, they can't see any pharaoh. We only see poets and jesters who are being brought in the court. We haven't seen any big pharaoh flowed down, apart from Kidero. Mr. Kidero ended up in court. He got out. He got an anticipatory bail, and he opposed everything and started suing the EACC. Up to date, we haven't seen whether Mr. Kidero has been actually fixed or not. So these are some of the things that are making people not very comfortable in doing so. In the name of Judicial Service Commission, has it delivered what you want? Is it the best one that you want today? Of course, Mr. Mugo, the Ugandan court operate the same way. So when I talk about East Africa, we have the same date of East African community budgets. The budgets that are in Kenya are equivalent to the budgets that are in Uganda, more or less. The only difference is that the Kenya currency is stronger and it has got the ability to maintain its services without having any problem. So it is not a problem, Mr. Mugo, for me to speak about Kenya, because tomorrow, East African Community in 2020 will become a commission. And when it becomes a commission, you expect somebody from Uganda to stand for presidency of that commission. And I'm sure Mr. President Museveni has already indicated that he wants to be the first president of the East African Commission. Therefore, when we talk about these things, we are looking at the future. And the future will be a very important feature to check whether we are on the right path or not. So when you look at all this and look at what is happening elsewhere, you find that there are ups and downs in the judiciary. But the judiciary has stood firm. The Chief Justice has maintained that it is not him who has made the war on corruption impossible. At times he has blamed the DPP for the, bringing too many people in the court. But bringing too many people could be a reason for slow justice. But have we seen even the few that have been brought going down to court, to jail? The answer is no. Therefore, there's something wrong with the judiciary, with the entire criminal justice system of Kenya. When we talk about the criminal justice system, I want to take a break. When we come back, I want to look at the criminal justice system in Kenya. What type of criminal justice system do you want as a Kenyan? Do you want a man to steal money, is taken to police for 2 days, produced in court, the same evening he's back in the house eating that money? Is that the best criminal justice system, law and order that you want? Keep watching, keep talking to us, keep sending in those messages. I'll read some of them. Don't go away. Let's come for the second part.
Our ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, laid out a clear agenda for reform, but despite reported and repeated warnings, no action at all was taken. So the United States took the only responsible course. We withdrew from the Human Rights Council, and we will not return until real reform is enacted. For similar reasons, the United States will provide no support in recognition to the International Criminal Court. As far as America is concerned, the ICC has no jurisdiction, no legitimacy, and no authority. The ICC claims near universal jurisdiction over the citizens of every country, violating all principles of justice, fairness, and due process. We will never surrender America's sovereignty to an unelected, unaccountable global bureaucracy.
Trump's decision to come out of ICC, which is International Criminal Court, sends a lot of signals and a lot of happiness to some of us. From time of the inception of ICC, David Matsanga and others, I want to thank David Hoyle, my professor, Professor Hoyle in London. Thank you very much for mentoring me to stand firm to discuss the African question on the ICC. It is very important, therefore, for the people of Africa to understand that while you rejoice, while you want to hate Trump, Trump has made it very clear that globalization is not part of his agenda.
America is governed by Americans. We reject the ideology of globalism, and we embrace the doctrine of patriotism. Around the world, responsible nations must defend against threats to sovereignty, not just from global governance, but also from other new forms of coercion and domination. In America, we believe strongly in energy security for ourselves and for our allies.
Today, as we speak, this nation cannot be the same. This nation is paralyzed. This nation needs serious redemption, needs the building of bridges. As a result of the ICC, the anger that was flowing from one end to the other created a problem that we see here, but people don't want to admit. People wait in Africa. Trump is correct. Let's wake up. Let's have a rebuff that delivers to hopes so that our people don't perish in the Mediterranean Sea. A rebuff that will bring about peaceful resolution of conflicts, like the conflicts that occur in South Sudan between Riek Machar and Salva Kiir. These conflicts don't give us any hope. These conflicts don't give us anything that is yearned for. These conflicts are a pity to Africa. We are lulled into the ICC in 1998 by Kofi Annan. America rejected ICC, stood firm and said, we can give you the money, but we shall not ratify for you because we have institutions. We have failed our own judiciary systems, but we want to be judged by another judiciary system which has no jury, it has no evidence, it has no separation of powers between the chief prosecutor and the investigative arm, and then with the prosecuting arm. That's the Africa we have.
Thank you very much, viewers, wherever you are. Thank you very much for watching us all the way live from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. This is Matsanga Africa Perspective, a show that looks at Africa. Today, our main topic is local, the courts, the judiciary, the ups and the downs of the judiciary in Kenya. If you have any comments about the judiciary in Kenya or in your place, how does the judiciary in Africa work? Whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in Cameroon, whether you're in South Africa, whether you're in Uganda, Kigali, Harare, Zimbabwe, does it serve your purpose? But the case study we shall use is Kenya. We have said the judiciary in Kenya leaves a lot to be desired. The Kenyan law itself leaves a lot to be desired. One, there is anticipatory bail. I have never seen a country in the world which has got anticipatory bail, where someone has stolen goods from you, then he goes to the police station to seek an anticipatory bail, saying the CIDs are coming for me. So give me a bail. When they come, I'll show them the order. Anticipatory orders in Kenya are given to prevent people going to custody. What was this that was put in the constitution, in the laws of Kenya, that can be changed, that can help Kenya to move forward, that can help the Chief Justice to sentence and nail people? When we talk about the judicial service, the criminal justice system of a nation, we mean everything, including police, probation, social worker, outreach worker, community worker, prison workers, staff nurses, chaplain, police, the lawyers, the agendas of this, the grand mullahs, all these lawyers, the powerful lawyers belong to their judicial officers. So the Judicial Service Commission is a big organization, but the criminal justice system involves even several, outlets. For example, what is the community policing? It is part of the criminal justice system. Do we solve the problems of the community by sending everything to court? What has Uganda done that has made Karamoja more safe than Turkana? These are some of the case studies we should look at. The case studies in Uganda, the case study shows Karamoja is safer than Uganda, than Kenya. In Kenyan Turkana, you find people still stealing cows. Across in Karamoja, they are growing crops, carrots, onions, cabbage, rice, gold, diamonds. They are creating everything. So in a situation of that nature, there is a situation that we need as Africans. Can we pick something from each other? The courts in Kenya and the Kenya needs, for example, the criminal justice system of Ethiopia is that you don't get bail when you are indicted on a criminal corruption charges. Until your case is finished, you are not given bail at all in Ethiopia. In Uganda, bail is mandatory after 6 months to 9 months. A person can apply for bail to leave Ruzira maximum prison after 9 months of stay in prison. A person in Rwanda is purely 6 months. Has it helped to fight corruption? Yes. The criminal justice system of Rwanda helps to fight corruption in this sense, that once you are caught on corruption charges, you don't leave the premises, the police and the prison. You stay for 6 months while investigations are being conducted. The Kenyan criminal justice system says you can be given bail instantly as soon as you are produced before the magistrate and you apply for bail. They will, and the conditions suit the bail, they will release you to go home. This habit in Kenya has persuaded or has increased the theft. People just go and drill a hole in KCB, in Thika. For example, can you tell me whether the police remembers the thieves who stole money in Thika? How many CIDs still remember these people? Where are they? Who polices them? Who's looking after the bail conditions that have been given? This is what we are talking about. The absence of the judiciary, of the criminal justice system. Who's looking at the bail conditions? If you look at NYS 1, NYS 2, the people who stole millions of shillings and billions of shillings are in Dubai. They have broken all the conditions. They are in Dubai. Who polices the condition? There's no probation officer. Tell me which probation officer is looking for that lady Lillian who stole all that 9 billion. She even wanted the Mercedes-Benz back to drive comfortably, to kill witnesses. Who's looking at the witnesses? Who protects witnesses? Who protects whistleblowers? This is what Kenyans should involve themselves discussing. Because there is no better criminal justice system in this country. This is the truth. The people who have stolen the money, they have flown away. Who remembers? I want any Kenyan who is watching this film to tell this show now to tell me that he remembers the thieves of Thika KCB Bank. Any Kenyan who knows the name, even one, we have forgotten about them. Maybe they are digging another hole somewhere on another bank, stealing more money. This is the tragedy of Africa. There are people now stealing more money who have been released on bail because the criminal justice system of Kenya does not follow. If you are told to be reporting at the police station every Tuesday, some people have signed until 2022. The police records show 2022 is when you will appear. Who follows? Show me. The only day I saw the criminal justice system in place is Obado case. When probation and Obado and Joey, Maribe Joey, is when I heard of a probation officer. Believe me or not, most of you Kenyans did not know that there were probation officers in court who come and find out your conditions, whether you should be given bail or you're a flight risk or you have no house, you sleep on a tree. There are some people in this country who go to court and they say they have no fixed abode. The criminal justice system of Kenya, is it equal to all of us? Or the highest bidder takes justice, the lowest bidder remains in industrial area? I want to bring in the question, case study. Mr. Obado versus the state of Republic of Kenya and the two others. As we speak now, Mr. Obado is eating sausage. But the two men who did not even have sexual interaction with the woman are still languishing in industrial area prison. Is that justice? I want Kenyans to answer me. Is that justice? Oyamo and his friend cannot be given bail. But Mr. Obado is flying his helicopter. He's even impregnating more women as a governor. This television does not hide. Yes, because we always follow where Mr. Obado goes. He's impregnating more younger girls, getting more pregnant. When they have a complication, then he kills them. Because for us, we still mourn for Sharon. Sharon will not get justice. Where's the justice? A father has lost a daughter. Mr. Oyamo, who was a PA, who was a handler, a jacket handler, a briefcase handler, is suffering in industrial area. Is this the criminal justice system Kenyans want? Let's come to Joy, Maribe, and a co. Case study. We are not going into the details. Mr. Joy is still suffering in a committee. But because Maribe was a high flyer case, she's still having more engagements outside in the public. In fact, if they had not said don't go back to the TV, she would have gone back to TV. Is that the criminal justice system that Kenyans want? It leaves Oyamo, who was a PA, who did not even know what was happening, but because her phone was used, the boss said, call her. The boss is out, Mr. Oyamo and others are languishing in prison. This is injustice. The criminal justice system of Kenya needs to be changed such that bail is given to almost everybody if you have accepted to give it to everyone. You cannot give bail to the highest bidder. You cannot give bail, deny the lowest, the poor man, the bail that is enshrined in the Constitution. I want Kenyans to take it up to say Oyamo must be released. He must attend his court from outside. Who is more of a flight risk? Is it Obado who can fly with a helicopter until he lands in Lake Victoria, or Oyamo who has no helicopter? These are facts, and we state facts. Mr. Oyamo was a PA with the bodyguard, the general service officer who is suffering in industrial area. This general service officer has nothing to do with Sharon. His phone was used. That's all. So what happened? Why should he be denied bail? These are some of the things, that's why we brought this topic. The ups and the downs of our judicial system. The Kenyan judicial system. Does it give you nightmare? Does it give you nightmare? Do you get the services? I can see so many people, some are saying it is a kangaroo court. And he said, Adon Town said, it is not in Kenya alone. It is all over Africa. Younger people in Africa need to stop supporting politicians and find the place in Africa for African politics. For us in Cameroon, all is about the president. He decides who should be arrested, killed, and even, I think, if Bias decides whom you should sleep with. That's the truth about these courts, about these countries in Africa. In Uganda, Museveni decides when you can get out. Apart from the presidential mercy, pardon, he also has powers to write a letter. I remember His Excellency President Museveni wrote a letter against Mr. Mukula, his vice chairman of NRM, and locked Captain Mukula for 2 years because Mukula stole money. He stole money for AIDS. AIDS money. Patients were dying. This guy clobbered money, $60,000. The mistake he made was to return the money. He said, sir, the money got lost, I'm returning. On returning the money, the president was out in Russia, but the president ordered for him to be detained for 2.5 years. The vice chairman of NRM suffered for 2.5 good years in Luzira maximum prison. That is the type of democracy. That's the democracy at times that all of us have, at times we don't have it. So when you look at the way things are, you can find that is Mr. Oyamo. He's suffering in court, in industrial area. He was a PA who woke up to go and work for his children. He never went back. But the owner who impregnated the suspect, the deceased, is walking free, even throwing more saliva to the senators every morning when he's called to the Senate. So the justice system in Kenya is not very good. They need to change the criminal justice system such that it can bite. It can bite the little that it can. Otherwise, we don't have anything to be proud of. The only thing you can be proud of, if bail is given, it must be given to all people. Viewers, that is my take. Your take can be different. This is Matsanga's take. President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has one obstacle to tackle in Kenya. For the president to achieve his campaign against corruption, His Excellency President should embark on an exercise to redeem the courts. The judicial service system and the judiciary in Kenya is rotten. They are good judges, some of them, but 3/4 of the judges either have some skeletons or are wounded or are working with corruption-related scandals. The cases that come to court in the Judiciary of Kenya, yes, there's been some development in terms of the digital filing that we get, that the cases don't disappear and don't take long. But there is also a delay of some cases, complete files disappearing from the judiciary. The judicial service systems in Kenya have indeed upheld the rule of law, the constitutionalism that we have. Although the arbitrary state, rulings that actually affect the security of this country, overall percentage, the relationship between the courts, the government has been one-sided. The courts in Kenya tended to go on defense lawyers' side than the prosecution. Most of the cases that the prosecution wins are by sheer luck of God's mercy, that the prosecution wins 2 or 3, 4 cases. I see most of the big lawyers, the senior counsels, when they appear in court, their cases never go a different way from what they like. It is therefore very prudent for President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta to embark on the exercise of pruning the Supreme Court of Republic of Kenya. The Supreme Court of Republic of Kenya is rotten. The judges themselves are confused. The Chief Justice is under siege because he has a petition hanging on his head. Most of the judges have petitions. It cannot go on and on and on without a remedy. The president, therefore, my take in Matsanga Africa perspective is the first point of call, Your Excellency, is to get the people of Kenya the proper Supreme Court, proper High Court, proper judiciary that will run the affairs, fight criminal cases, justice, equality, and bring about the end to corruption. That is my take. Thank you very much. Viewers, wherever you are in the world, tomorrow at 11 a.m., in the morning, we shall be back here with Good Morning Africa. Meanwhile, you can enjoy our radio station, www.radiopunchlineafrica.com. If you enter there, there is every variety of African music that you want to enjoy. You want to dance with it. You want to do whatever you do. You want to relax. In the morning, 6 o'clock, David Matsanga comes with Good Morning, the Round Africa Showdown. On radio from 6 to 9, I'm always live on that radio. Remember, the address is www.radiopunchlineafrica.com. Just go to our Punchline Africa TV and tick Radio Live. You will see us smiling there. Sorry. And the music is purely African music. Lucky Dube, all Nigerian singers, all Ghanaians, all Senegalese, all Oliver Mutukuzi, all Bob Wine. Whom do I mention in Kenya? Hey, do I know one? Yes, do I know somebody in Kenya? My production team didn't do well. There's a Nameless. Yes. Nameless. Name them. Kidimu. All those songs When you go to Democratic Republic of Congo, Rumba, Luambo Makiadi, Samba Mapangala, all these things are there. Don't miss the music. Radio, Punchline, Africa.com. Just tune in. Enjoy the music. This is Matsanga Africa Perspective all the way from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Thank you very much. The people of Kenya, the people of Africa, the people of the world. This station, therefore, is for Africa, with Africa, by Africa. Ciao.